He wasn't the most powerful man in the room, but he made sure every powerful man in the room needed him. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a criminal. He was a psychologist of power, a man who studied human weakness the way scientists study viruses to exploit it. Today, Body Decoded breaks down the exact dark psychology tactics he used to build one of the most terrifying networks of control in modern history. Epstein's first weapon was fake authority. He convinced the world he was a billionaire financial genius, but no one could ever explain exactly where his money came from. In dark psychology, this is called manufactured prestige, creating an illusion of power so strong that people stop asking questions. When you appear powerful enough, people's brains automatically fill in the gaps. They assume you're legitimate. He surrounded himself with Harvard professors, MIT scientists, and heads of state, not because he belonged there, but because proximity to power creates the illusion of power. This is a manipulation tactic anyone can use, and most people never see it coming. Epstein didn't just meet powerful people, he collected them. And once you were in his world, he made sure you could never fully leave. This is called reciprocity entrapment, a dark psychology technique where you do favors for people not out of generosity, but to create psychological debt. The human brain is wired to return favors. It feels wrong not to. Epstein gave powerful men access to parties, to connections, to his island. And with that access came secrets, and with secrets came leverage. Suddenly, the most powerful people in the world were trapped in a web they walked into willingly. The genius of this trap? The victims often don't realize they're trapped until it's too late. By the time they do, Epstein already owns a piece of them. Most people think grooming only happens one-on-one. Epstein did it at scale. He groomed victims, enablers, protectors, and powerful allies, all at the same time. The foundation of his grooming was gradual boundary erosion. He never asked for everything at once. He started small, a gift, an invitation, a compliment. Then slowly, over weeks or months, he pushed further. By the time boundaries were crossed, the person had already accepted dozens of smaller violations. Psychologists call this the foot in the door technique. Once someone says yes to something small, they're statistically far more likely to say yes to something bigger. The final piece of Epstein's psychological machine was manufactured dependency. He made people need him for money, for connections, for silence. Isolation is one of the oldest control tactics in the dark psychology playbook. When you control someone's access to resources, you control them. Epstein made himself the gatekeeper to a world people desperately wanted to stay inside. And for those who threatened to speak, the dependency flipped into fear. Here's the darkest truth about Epstein's psychology. He didn't invent any of these tactics. They are ancient tools of control used by cult leaders, dictators, and abusers. What made Epstein dangerous wasn't brilliance, it was scale. He applied the same psychological playbook predators have always used, but in a world of global power networks. And the scariest part? These same tactics are used every single day, in offices, relationships, and online. Understanding them is the only defense. Now you know the psychological blueprint of one of history's most calculated manipulators. The question is, can you recognize these patterns before someone uses them on you? Follow Body Decoded, because understanding dark psychology isn't dark, it's survival.